On today's episode of Adapt and Respond, at least one high school recruit wants Texas to play Texas Tech just so everybody knows what time it is. And ESPN ranked the top 10 coaches in college football as it sees it. And, well, there are quite a few that made the list that weren't on the list last year. And there is at least one snub that we got to talk about. And all that's coming up after the bumper. What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. If this is your first time watching Adapt and Respond, thank you for joining us here. We talk college football year round. If you're into that, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and answer the question in the comments below. Do you think Texas should play Texas Tech? Also, since you're watching this on YouTube, perhaps you want to join the more than 211,000 subscribers to Adapt and Respond, a college football podcast. You can also catch us on Spotify and Apple if you so choose. So, off the rip, I want to talk about what John Meredith III had to say about Texas potentially playing Texas Tech. Why are we talking about this? We're talking about this because Joey McGuire responded to a comment made by Steve Sarkisian at one of his junkets in Texas, you go around, you talk to the boosters, you raise money, right? One of the things that he had said, and I'm going to get it right this time, as many of you have pointed out, didn't exactly say this correctly. Steve Sarkisian had once again made it about Texas having a tougher path than most other programs, specifically Texas Tech. So here's what he said. And again, this is at the Touchdown Club in Houston all the way back in May 29th, right? And what the quote exactly is, without naming Texas Tech, he said, "There's a team in our state in another conference with a schedule that I would argue if I played with our 2s and 3s, we could go undefeated and they'll probably make the CFP this year." Okay, now, you tell me how that's any different than Texas Tech saying they could stomp a mud hole in Texas Tech and walk it dry, because that's how it reads. Because Texas Tech didn't go undefeated against that 2025 schedule. In fact, Texas Tech took a couple of losses. One of those, seismic in the college football playoff, where they came to understand what Oklahoma has learned the last 5 times it's made the college football playoff. Son, there's levels to this. Just because you go and beat the hell out of the Big 12 doesn't mean you get to play for a championship of the national caliber, okay? It's the same as it always was. Oklahoma would run through the Big 12, stomp a mud hole in everybody, walk it dry, and then show up and get absolutely destroyed by Georgia, get absolutely destroyed by Clemson, blow a double-digit lead at home against Bama. Texas Tech got absolutely rickrolled, skull dragged. I'm talking about 2 fingers in your nostril, and then puny got it around like you in the Stark Tower building, and they talk about puny God. That's how it felt, all right? So you tell me, if somebody came up to you and you coaching Pee Wee, and they see that you had gone 12-2, but they don't like your schedule, and they said, my backups and my backups would have gone undefeated against that schedule. You ain't nothing but air and opportunity. Move the furniture. We got to fight now. That's how that works. That's what you're saying. We got to fight now. We got to fight now, because you're saying that my best isn't good enough and that you could go 33% and still do better than me? Nah, son. Money where your mouth is. Put the gloves on. Ding, ding. Let's go to work. Okay? That's how Joey McGuire and Texas Tech have felt about it since that comment was made public. And Steve Sarkisian ain't done nothing to back down off of that comment. And more to the point, Texas Tech has said repeatedly, hey, drop what you're doing. Drop what you're doing right now. See us in the gulag. Okay? See us in the street. Texas Tech showing up on your front yard where your mama stay, where your grandmama staying, saying, bring your ass outside. Let's go. I'm tired of you talking about me. I want you to come see me. Meanwhile, Texas is like, y'all beneath us. Man, that's that sound you make when you scared. And it's not Sunday. Because if it was Sunday, I'd say go to church. If you're scared, go to church. Okay? If you're scared, go to church. If you're going to be out here selling these wolf tickets, put on the furs. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? So now we got Joey McGuire saying, we don't need no Brendan Sorsby to whoop your ass. We don't need that. No. We got Will Hammond for that. And more importantly, I've been playing EA Sports College Football 27 for the last 2 days because I'm that kind of dude to pay for the access. They got a 90 rated defense, dog. Like, they got one of the best defenses in the entire game. As a matter of fact, the only defense that's better than Texas Tech's is Oregon's. Play the game. You know what I'm saying? They said, hey, if you're worried about money, we got that. I don't know if you saw this or not, but the price of a gallon of gas went up by 25 cents in Oklahoma. And, I know that we in high cotton, damn, I paid $3.05 for gas the last time I went there to pump, and that's $3.29. I'm like, yo, meanwhile, the rest of y'all looking like $3.29. Damn, $3.29? Yeah, that's what, yeah. Talk about Oklahoma some more. Go ahead. Go ahead, California, New York. How much y'all paying to ride on that dusty-ass subway, huh? What y'all paying in taxes over there, California? Huh? Y'all eating anything? Y'all get to bring anything home? Huh? Looking real poor over there. We got 5-bedroom houses out here, and y'all paying the same amount of money to split a double wide. Look at you now. Look at you now. Texas Tech got that kind of loot. So they saying, hey, we'll buy out the Texas State game. You know what I'm saying? We'll tell Wazoo and them, Oregon State and them, go and sit over there for a little bit. We got business to handle. We got 10 toes down, 5 fingers curled up, and 1 pointing back at you saying, come here, boy. Come here. You're going to learn today, boy. Come here. Meanwhile, you got Texas acting some kind of way. So what John Meredith has said, who is their 5-star cornerback and the highest rated cornerback that Texas ever landed, right? The number 1 player at his position. Excuse me, I cramped up. Damn. Whew. That was almost close. Almost cramped up, right? Like bad. You got the highest rated cornerback to commit to Texas in history. And one of the 2 best players in the country saying, you know what? I really wish Texas would just go ahead and play Texas Tech so everybody know what time it is, so you can see the differences and levels to this. And you know what? So would I. So would the rest of the country. Give it to us. Why? Come on now. The only game that I want to see more than I want to see Texas versus Texas Tech is Texas versus A&M. But even more so than that, the only game I want to see more than Texas versus Texas Tech or Texas versus A&M is Oklahoma versus USC. And I'm going to get to that real quick here in a little bit, but I want to stay on this for just a little bit. Because the thing that bothers me the most about this whole Texas Tech, Texas thing is we know they could do it. We know that it would not take much to say to the broadcasters, hey, let's move these games over. This is going to draw. Y'all can sell all y'all ads behind this. Y'all can make this work. Hell, we playing games in Dublin. We playing games in London. Why don't we play another game in Lubbock? Or on the 40 acres if you really scared. Though I think the Texans should have to go up there to Jones and catch these tortillas to the face. Fine or no fine. I really think that the new money should get to go at the old money. That's what I think. Because Big 12 is tired of dealing with the new money, acting like they've been old money. I'm telling you, Texas Tech acting like they Texas Christian. You know what I'm saying? Texas Christian came in here and said, no. We're going to win a little bit, then we're going to start talking our noise. Then you got these dudes over here to try to drag everybody else through the mud on some other dude's gambling problem. And you can see how everybody feels about it. But when you start talking about a roughneck being soft, then you got a problem. Because a roughneck with a little bit of money is a problem. That's how Texas Tech is acting, like a roughneck with a little bit of money. But one thing you're not going to convince me of is that a roughneck is a soft person or that his family is soft. And anytime you come at him, you best know that he's got that pipe wrench behind his back, ready to squab with you at any point in 110-degree heat. Texas, Steve Sarkisian wrote a check. Now let's see if his ass gonna cash. I don't think it is, but we would love to see it. On the other side, let's talk about the top 10 coaches in college football according to ESPN, and at least one snub that was left off. Back on Adapt and Respond with me, RJ Young. If you are new to the channel, consider joining the more than 211,000 subscribers to Adapt and Respond, a college football podcast on YouTube. And you can also subscribe on Spotify and Apple if that's something that you're interested to and you like to listen to the audio feed. I myself am intrigued anytime ESPN puts up a list, because unlike the list that gets put up at Fox Sports in my name, right? It's just me. At ESPN, it's a collection of people, and they're taking votes because the staff is so big. So it's always interesting to me where this collection of college football experts ends up on their opinions and how I still think that as a collective, they can be wrong. So taking a look at this rather remarkable 10-coach list, where you're asking who the best coach is in college football going into 2026 season. I'm also amazed at how many coaches on this list were not ranked on it last year. And specifically, who they chose to leave off this year. So I'm going to start at number 1, work my way down, and you can listen for the name that you don't hear as we're getting closer and closer to better understanding what it is that ESPN is looking for when it's talking about ranking the best coaches in college football. And this is the FBS. So don't come at me with Mountain Union's head coach, all right? Or them, for that matter. So at number 1, according to their voters and some stats that were provided by ESPN Research, it's got to be Curt Cignetti, who is 46-6. Oh my God, as a head coach at FBS. Brought James Madison to the front. And James Madison was so good off the rip, nobody understood why or how. And he put that program in a position to make the college football playoff last year under Bob Chesney, right? So he received 94 points in their voting and 5 of the 10 first place votes. And he wasn't even ranked last year. So that's one unranked coach right there, right? So keep a tally here. And I don't think anybody's going to argue with Curt Cignetti being the best coach in college football. 16-0, the first team to ever do that. The first team since Yale in 1894, 1896 to do that. And Cignetti's 27 wins over the last 2 seasons in Bloomington are more than any other coach in his first 2 years at that school since the AP debuted. Not hard to believe because Indiana was the losingest football program in FBS until the middle of last year, in the middle of that historic run. Number 2 on this list, Kirby Smart, who is 117-21 at Georgia, got 4 first-place votes. And that's the second most wins by a head coach in school history at Georgia. I mean, the only guy to do that at his first school in his first 10 seasons is George Woodruff, who had 124 from 1892 to 1901. Kirby Smart understood what kind of gold mine he was inheriting as he played at Georgia. But even Nick Saban would say, the right person gets in that job, it's over for college football. And Kirby Smart was always the right guy for that job. And the longer they kept Mark Richt, the better Alabama was going to be. And then all of a sudden they said, hey, why don't we just go get the defense coordinator for Nick Saban the last few years? And damn, did that not change their trajectory in a truly meaningful way. I mean, first national championship in 40 years, and then they went back to back, right? Which is what Indiana is attempting to do. Number 3 on this list, Ryan Day, who was 82-12. That's an 87% winning percentage. That's ridiculous. Through his first damn near 100 games, almost, 94 games. No, yes, 94 games. Ryan Day has the third highest winning percentage in major college football history, behind Walter Camp, Newt Rockne, and that's just since the poll debuted in 1936. It's the highest ever. Not too shabby. Inherits the job and starts winning right away. The only blemish on Ryan Day's resume is his Ohio State Michigan record of 2-4. Also, a guy that was ranked on this list last year at 2, fell to 3. Kirby Smart was ranked at 1, fell to 2. Number 4 on this list is Marcus Freeman, who stands pat, right? He was number 4 on this list last year. Given what Marcus Freeman inherited and why Brian Kelly chose to leave Notre Dame, it is rather remarkable what Marcus Freeman has done. Because I'll remind you, Brian Kelly left Notre Dame because he believed he could not win a national championship at Notre Dame and thought he could do that in the SEC, specifically at a place like LSU, where any kind of coach feels like they can win a national championship, but not him, right? He got fired. Les Miles can win one. Ed Orgeron could win one. Nick Saban could win one, but he can't win one, right? Then Marcus Freeman takes over that job, and they're playing in the national championship game in 2024, and they look like they could be playing in the national championship game in 2026. Not too shabby, right? Number 5 on this list, Dan Lanning, who was ranked 6th last year. Lanning has been specifically one of my favorite coaches to watch as a dude that got a job and ain't going nowhere. He is 48-8 since 2022. 48-8. Put in context, Curt Cignetti's 46-6. All right. It's a national championship away from him being perhaps number 2 on this list. That's how good Oregon has been. And the Ducks are 1-5 against teams that ended up in the national title game and 37-0 against everybody else. That's a wild stat. 1-5 against teams that end up in the national championship game and 37-0 against everybody else. Basically means if they could beat Ohio State in Ohio State's year, Indiana in Indiana's year, Michigan in Michigan's year, we're talking about a totally different program, right? Which is wild to consider. Then number 6 on this list, Steve Sarkisian, who was number 5 last year, but I found this stat to be really good. Sarkisian has 3 straight 10-win seasons, right? Texas did not have more than one 10-win season from 2010 to 2022. And that's remarkable. They also got 3 wins against AP top 10 teams. Sarkisian has been, if we played an easier schedule, we probably played for the national championship. I don't think that's how that goes because, well, you played against Ohio State and got thumped in the college football playoff. You played against, and then you got thumped in the regular season. You played against Washington and got thumped college football playoff, right? It's not as simple as playing an easier schedule. But I can understand where he's coming from, and he's got an Arch Manning this year. Number 7 on this list, Lane Kiffin. There's a surprise. Not ranked last year, but given what Lane was able to do at Florida Atlantic and what he's been able to do at Ole Miss, given what they were before he got there, I see the argument. So before Kiffin arrived at Florida Atlantic, we're talking about a program that was in the doldrums. I believe they were 9-27 in the 3 years before he got there. Since after he left, they 27-13, right, during his time. At Ole Miss, they got 4 top 15 finishes, and here's one. Under Kiffin, the Rebels spent 48 straight weeks in the AP poll, second longest streak in program history. And they make the college football playoff for the first time, and they do that without needing to play in an SEC championship game. Not too shabby. Best Ole Miss season maybe ever, but certainly when they were really humming with Hugh Freeze, right? Number 8 on this list, Mike Elko, who was also not ranked last year. I'm not sure I put Elko on this list, but making the college football playoff does a lot of work for you here. He's 19-7 through 2 seasons. I don't think that's that good, especially when you consider Kevin Sumlin went 20-6 through 2012 and 2013, had a Heisman Trophy winner, but you get my point there. I think that's kind of a miss. Kyle Whittingham, number 9 on this list, was number 9 last year, just changing the color of his polo from Utah to Michigan. Kyle Whittingham has consistently been one of the most underrated college football coaches, I think, of my lifetime. And since 1978, when the FBS and the FCS split, Whittingham is the only FBS coach to face Michigan at least 3 times and have an undefeated record against them. He's 3-0 against Michigan, which is wild to consider. He's also got the most wins in Utah history as head coach, 177. Not too shabby. And then there's a tie at number 10 between Mario Cristobal and Kalen DeBoer. Mario Cristobal, who's not ranked on this list last year, leads Miami to the national championship game. Program record 13 wins. And Miami was 7-1 against AP-ranked teams in 2025. Kalen DeBoer finishes out this list, 20-6 over his career against ranked opponents. It's a wild stat. Just been really, really good. And has the third best winning percentage, 77%, by a head coach since the AP poll era began in 1936, behind Frank Leahy and Pete Carroll. That's a hell of a list, right? That's a hell of a list. Now, who didn't you hear on this list that maybe should have got some votes, right? Well, Matt Campbell, for certainly, he got votes. He got 9 points. Rhett Lashley got 5 points. Dabo Swinney got 10 points. Eric Morris at Oklahoma State got 4 points. Kalani Stockton got BYU got 2 points. Kenny Dillingham got 1 at Arizona State. Willie Fritz at Houston got 1. And Clark Lee at Vanderbilt got 1. You know, 2 guys I didn't hear? Joey McGuire at Texas Tech and Lincoln Riley at USC. Joey McGuire, who just coached Texas Tech to its best season, period, make the college football playoff. And Lincoln Riley, who has had a Heisman Trophy winner at least once in each of the last 3 years. So Heisman Trophy winner in 2017, Baker Mayfield. Heisman Trophy winner in 2018, Kyler Murray. Heisman Trophy winner in Caleb Williams in 2022. So not each of the last 3 years, but let me see. On average, my bad. Going back to 2018, give or take. So let me clean that one up a little bit. I also think that what hurts Lincoln Riley here is he hasn't made a Big Ten championship game, and he hasn't made the college football playoff. But in as far as developing, say, a Biletnikoff Award winner in Mekhi Lemon or Dede Westbrook and putting dudes in the NFL, you can make an argument nobody's been better on that in the offensive side of the ball. As for the rest of this list, like the top half of the list, I'm fine with, man. Again, Elko, okay. Kiffin, okay. But I think Texas Tech probably did it to themselves over this summer. Like, just you're going to wear the black hat this season. You're going to wear the Michigan black hat this season. That's not a bad thing for you, by the way, because you like that. You're Red Raiders after all. All right. If you like this episode of Adapt and Respond, please send it to a friend and subscribe to the podcast on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Deuces.